Nazia Jahan. Welcome to NRBC TV and আমাদের আজকের শো Hello New York এর স্পেশাল গেস্ট আছে ফ্যাশন ডিজাইনার রাইসা। Hi Raisa, welcome to our studio. Thank you for coming.
Hello, how are you?
I'm so happy and excited to have you in our studio today, especially Eid is around the corner and it's all about fashion and clothing, and mashallah, you have achieved so much in such young age. So, congratulations first of all.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot coming from someone like you. You have yourself that you have achieved so much.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. So, Raisa, tell me what inspired you to be a fashion designer?
Okay, we're jumping right in, huh?
Yes. So much to talk about, you know.
Okay, so what inspired me for fashion actually is my childhood. I grew up in Dhaka. My family is pretty well off right now, alhamdulillah. But growing up, my family was not really that well off. And my parents used to give me a set budget for like special occasions like Eid or weddings or something like that, right? And তখন ওই budgetটা would never be enough to make like to buy an outfit. So তখন আমরা কি করতাম, আমি আর আম্মু মিলে গিয়ে যে কোনো like চাঁদনি চক বা কৃষি মার্কেট থেকে আমরা হচ্ছে কাপড় কিনতাম. We used to buy fabric, and then my Khalamoni is actually a designer for Aro.
Nice.
And Khalamonir
so the talent is actually in the family, and it's
thank you.
So it's all coming from the background.
Okay, my being compared to my Khalamoni is a big deal for me. She's one of my inspirations.
Awesome.
So thank you. But হ্যাঁ, তো তখন হচ্ছে খালামনির যে অ্যাটেলিয়েটা ছিল ওটা হচ্ছে আমাদের বাসার নিচেই ছিল. তো আমি ছোটবেলা থেকেই যখন আমাদের কাপড়টা আনা হতো তখন আমি আমার স্কেচবুকে চলে যেতাম, and I used to make sketches.
Nice.
And I used to sketch out the dress that I would want. Most of the time it would be a sketch যেটা হচ্ছে খালামনি দেখে মানে she would be like এটা কেমনে বানাবো.
Wow.
She used to just be like এটা মানে এটা তো হচ্ছে যে this is a little bit too advanced or something like that.
In terms of like sleeves and
in terms of just the
like modernized or
yeah,
okay.
like I think I always had a very interesting look at fashion.
Do you mean like Indo-fusion type or?
Yeah, something like that. I have always been into fusion.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Really?
Yes, that's the personal favorite.
I think Indo-fusion is actually like one of the best kinds of outfits that you can wear.
Yeah, these days আমরা দেখি যে এখন অনেক you know we see it in the market, but I think back in those days it wasn't much around. এখন যতটা দেখা যাচ্ছে, but I have always loved it since like years ago when যখন এতটা ছিল না available.
That you have been fashion forward ever since, huh?
Guilty as charged.
So yeah, so that was about it. তো খালামনি তখন বানাই দিত. I remember আমার সবচেয়ে বড় inspiration হয়েছিল during my sister's wedding. It was not my আপন বোন, but she's my cousin. I call her my sister. She during her wedding we went shopping for fabric, and we ended up buying this purple fabric, and it's a kataner fabric chilo.
Oh, I love that.
I love that as well. It holds such heritage, right? And it has such rich and deep,
elegant.
It's very elegant, and it has such rich and deep history behind it. It's a very, I just love that fabric. So ওই ফ্যাব্রিকটা নিয়ে আসে আমার কাতা নিয়ে আসি, and ওর সাথে লেসিস ম্যাচ করে সব নিয়ে আসি. So I made this lehenga. Okay, I made this lehenga ওটা দিয়ে, and I wore that to my sister's wedding, and all of my relatives actually started being like a fan of it.
Nice.
Really, they started asking my mother like, oh, where did you buy this, and my mother was like, oh, she actually designed this herself. And like her Khalamoni made it. So তখন it was like that was the first time that I actually realized that I'm good at this.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that was kind of it. Like that kind of happened.
So it all happened very, very early age.
I was 11.
Wow.
I was 11 when
That's
that happened.
amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty great. So then এরকম করতে করতে I started designing all of my own clothes. And then when I turned 13, something actually happened in my life. I got sick. I had an eating disorder, which is called anorexia nervosa, and I got hospitalized for it. তো ওই সময়টা আমার লাইফের অনেক টাফ একটা সময় ছিল. It was very difficult for me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But what happened was যখন আমি anorexia থেকে বের হচ্ছিলাম, যখন আমি হসপিটাল থেকে বের হয়েছি, the biggest challenge for me was not eating again or gaining weight or anything like that. What the biggest challenge for me was actually body dysmorphia. So body dysmorphia is a part of anorexia, which is basically যে আপনার বডিকে আপনি মেনে নিতে পারেন না, আপনার নিজের রিফ্লেকশন distorted হয়ে যায়, basically, like to put it in a very PG-13 way. So এরকম করে the way that I got over it was actually fashion. তো আমি তখন যখনই নিজেকে দেখতাম আয়নাতে, I used to see a very distorted version of myself. I used to see myself as a very ugly person, as a very not like the person that I really was. So what I did was I started designing dresses that I would feel good about myself in.
Nice.
That I would feel confident. So এরকম করে I started designing, and I started designing more and more and more. At one point আমার legit আমি 5-6টা sketchbook এক উইকে শেষ করে ফেলতাম.
Nice.
And obviously সবগুলো বানানো হতো না, but অনেকগুলো বানানো হতো. তো এভাবে করে করে I realized that my confidence eventually started to come back. And তখন থেকে I have made it a mission in my life যে এই confidence that I have gained from fashion is something that I want other people to experience as well. So অনেকেই ভাবে that fashion is something that is very not deep. It's something that is very surface level. But আমি বিশ্বাস করি যে fashion is something that can truly change the way you look at yourself. Fashion is something that has changed the way I look at myself, and I want other people to experience the same. So এজন্য I have made it a point যে আমার ব্র্যান্ডের থ্রুতে, because আমাদের bespoke and couture যে সার্ভিসটা আছে সেটা হচ্ছে made to wear আর কি. So made to wear fashion. So I want other people to also realize that just sizes and styles, they are meant to fit into you and your lifestyle.
Right.
You are not made to fit into a size or a style.
Correct.
So that is something that I really live by.
That's amazing. And tell me about FIT. That's a huge achievement that you got the opportunity, from Bangladesh to FIT. So tell me about that journey. How did that happen?
Thank you. Thanks for asking that question. I love answering that question.
Absolutely. I want the audience also to know about it. So, the inspiration, I'm sure there are many out there who wants to become what, the achievements, I'm sure they would love to achieve such big achievements.
So, FIT, যেটা হচ্ছে সেটা it's the best fashion school in the world, which is what attracted me towards it. আমি যখন আমার career ব্যাপারে চিন্তা করছিলাম, obviously fashion was an option. কিন্তু being from a brown family, of course, there were restrictions.
Right.
There were certain things that were to be considered. There were certain things like money was to be considered.
And maximum parents, I think, in back home, they just want doctor, engineer, right? Nobody wants you to become a fashion designer or any other, like I'm an actress, so
I
it was never encouraged.
Yes, of course. And honestly, fortunately, I have always come from a family jeta hoche. They have always really inspired me to go towards whatever I am passionate about.
Which is amazing.
And especially my dad. My
Yes.
dad is really like supportive and always just there for me.
Nice.
So, and it's just, I come from a great family, alhamdulillah. কিন্তু obviously ওদেরও একটু ইয়ে ছিল যে আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ মানে টাকা is a thing.
জি।
And struggling artist হইলে তো
Right.
মানে কি হবে তোমার?
হ্যাঁ।
তো তখন I thought of it and I was like আচ্ছা যদি আমি fashion করি তাহলে I'm gonna apply to the best fashion school in the world. And যদি ওখানে, and that's the only college I applied to.
Nice.
I did not apply
So you're
to any
confident.
other college. আমার কোনো ব্যাকআপ ছিল না, আমি অন্য কোনো কলেজে অ্যাপ্লাই করি না, কিছু করি না, আমি লাইক এখানেই আইদার এখানেই হবে, নাহলে আমি বাংলাদেশে থাকবো, কিছু একটা করবো। সো এখানে অ্যাপ্লাই করেছি and I was like এটা হইলে আইদার আমি ফ্যাশন পারসিউ করবো, না হলে করবো না।
Nice.
I still remember the day that I got my acceptance.
Wow.
আমি ক্রিমসন কাপে ছিলাম আসলে, ফোনারের ক্রিমসন কাপে আমি আমার ফ্রেন্ডসদের সাথে কফি খাচ্ছিলাম and আমার আব্বু আমাকে ফোন দিয়ে বলে তুমি কোথায়, and I'm like আমি আমার ফ্রেন্ডসদের সাথে চিল করছি। তখন আব্বু বলে তোমার তো অ্যাকসেপ্টেন্স হয়ে গিয়েছে। তো I was literally like Abbu, this is not a good joke, I'm sorry, this is not a good joke. And then Dad's like this is not a joke, তোমার acceptance হয়ে গিয়েছে। I'm like Dad, please stop, this is not a good joke. এটা literally like 5-6 বার হয়েছে,
too good to be true.
too good to be true। 5-6 বার হওয়ার পরে তারপর I'm like give me proof, I was like give me proof। তখন আব্বু is like চাচা তোমার আম্মুকে আমি বলি ছবি পাঠাইতে of your acceptance letter। তখন আম্মু ছবি পাঠাইছে, আব্বুকে পাঠাইছে, আব্বু আমাকে পাঠাইছে। I don't know আম্মু আমাকে directly কেন পাঠায় নাই, but এটা হয়েছে। তারপর আমি দেখার পর I was like
It happened.
it happened, that's kind of how it happened.
It's awesome.
And FIT was a life-changing experience. এর থেকে বেশি life-changing experience I don't think could have been possible. Like I still don't know, like I still have to live life and probably এর থেকে অনেক life-changing experience আমার হবে
Inshallah.
কিন্তু this was the most life-changing experience I've had in my life. Like it was really great. I met amazing people, and made so many connections, and FIT education level is top, like
I'm sure.
top notch. So yeah, it was really great.
So tell me about Raiue, the name of your brand. Is it related to your name, or what made you choose this name?
Again, I love that question. So I know a lot of people say it's actually Raiue, but the name is actually Raiue because the name comes from my name. It's the first 3 letters of my name and the last 2 letters of my last name.
Interesting.
So storyটা একটু মজারই আসলে। আমরা হচ্ছে আমি আমার ফ্রেন্ডসরা মিলে বসেছিলাম and we were talking about যে আচ্ছা রায়ের নামটা মানে ব্র্যান্ডের নামটা কি রাখা যায়, মানে ব্র্যান্ডের তো একটা আইডিয়া আছে, আমার শপই আছে, কিন্তু what can be the name of it? অনেক কিছু আমরা go through করেছি, সবই করেছি, কিন্তু একটা জিনিস আমরা পরে চিন্তা করলাম যে নর্মালি ডিজাইনার ব্র্যান্ডস এর তো নাম ডিজাইনারের থেকে ইন্সপায়ার্ড হয়,
Right.
তখন I wanted to first name it Raisa, কিন্তু রাইসা নামটা না এত কমন রাইসা নাম দিলে মনে হবে যে সবার ব্র্যান্ড তো এটা রাই সবারই ব্র্যান্ড, কিন্তু একটু নামের তো একটু এক্সক্লুসিভিটি লাগবে, রাইট?
But designer তুমি, only you.
তো তখন হচ্ছে আমি বসে যে চিন্তা করছি, আমি হঠাৎ করে এমনি বললাম যে guys, what do you think about Raiue? তখন they were like that's a good name, that's a very good name, and then this is another thing about me. I'm a very people centric person, especially my close friends.
Nice.
They matter a lot to me, especially with my big decisions in life and all of that.
Very nice.
So they approved, and they're the closest. They're very close to me and all of that. So I was like, Ajay, you know what? It's done.
And that's an awesome name. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
So from the name of your brand, the next question I want to ask you about New York Fashion Week. So how was that journey?
Raiue থেকে নিউ ইয়র্ক ফ্যাশন উইক তো রাই তো যেভাবে বললাম রাই এর স্টোরিটা শুরু হয়েছিল আপনার হচ্ছে একটা ক্যাফেতে আমি তখন মাত্র এফআইটি এর অ্যাকসেপ্টেন্স পেয়েছি and আমার একটু টাইম ছিল এফআইটি শুরু করা because I was only 16 when I got into FIT.
It's amazing.
So তখন I just had some time before I got into college. কয়েকটা issues ছিল, so I just took a little I think a year gap or something. যে আমি একটু গ্যাপে তারপরে কলেজ শুরু করব। তো তখন I was like আচ্ছা ওই টাইমে আমি কি করতে পারি, একটা ব্র্যান্ড শুরু করে দিই।
Just like that.
রাই শুরু হয়েছে। It was
nice.
And আমার একটা জিনিস ছিল যে আমি কোনো কিছু একটু whim of the moment এ শুরু করলেও I try to make sure that I put my best into it.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to make Rai a big platform eventually. প্রথমে I only started it because I wanted to have some experience in the fashion industry before I started my college life.
That's right.
But also another thing that I really wanted to do was the message that I shared at the beginning of the interview was that I wanted people to experience the confidence that I felt through fashion and through designing, right? And through tailor-made clothes. So oita I couldn't wait to get to a very big level যখন আমি অনেক বড় করে একটা ব্র্যান্ড শুরু করব তারপরে ওসব করব I wanted to start it. I couldn't wait to see a smile on somebody's face that I could give them. So এই দুটো রিজনের জন্য আমি রাই শুরু করেছিলাম।
Nice.
Rai started as a very small Facebook kind of a Facebook shop. তারপর ওখান থেকে আমরা আমাদের সব ই-কমার্স প্ল্যাটফর্মে ওটাকে এক্সপ্যান্ড করি। তারপরে eventually it just became bigger and bigger.
Nice.
People started talking about Rai, especially people from the age ranges of 18 to 30. That
nice.
was the age range that really got attracted to Rai. And I think our message of confidence and our message of self-love really did speak to them.
Nice.
Really did speak to that age range. So what happened was word of mouth. I think word of mouth is what happened. And
nice.
Rai eventually got bigger and bigger to a point where I did not even realize that Rai could ever get at such a young age, because I was only 17
Wow.
when I started Rai.
Wow.
And by the time a year passed by and I was 18, I was already the owner of this brand that a lot of people were talking about, and that was pretty surreal to me. And I remember like I got the first time that I was featured on Daily Star.
Wow.
And it was crazy. I was like Raiue jonno I was featured on Daily Star, and I was like you know, so starting something from a cafe conversation to it becoming something that got me on Daily Star.
Yeah.
It was pretty big. So then how New York Fashion Week happened. Yes, that. So then তারপর আমি যখন আমি যখন FIT তে আসি তখন I had to close Raiue. I had to temporarily shut down Raiue because I could not keep up the quality anymore that I was giving to my clients when I was in Bangladesh.
Okay.
So I had left a team of people. কিন্তু ওই টিমটা was efficient কিন্তু আমার মন মতো কোয়ালিটি দিচ্ছিল না।
Okay.
যেটা আমি চাচ্ছিলাম যে আমার ক্লায়েন্টসরা পাক।
Okay.
So I had to close down Raiue. কিন্তু আমি যখনই বাংলাদেশে যেতাম তখনই I would work on a collection or two.
Nice.
So at FIT I would go I would be invited to different New York Fashion Week events and stuff like that.
Nice.
তখন I met the owner of Soundbase, যার সাথে আমি আমার ইয়েটা করছি, যার সাথে তখন I met the owner of Soundbase, যার সাথে আমি শোটা করছি. And what happened was I told him that I'm a designer and we just had a conversation and everything, and he told me that he arranges New York Fashion Week events.
Yes.
So then I just sent him my portfolio and I was like, hey, like look at my designs and all of that. If you feel like it, if you think that I'm qualified enough to have a show in New York Fashion Week, I would be delighted. So he was like, okay, send me your portfolio, send me your designs, and I will look into it and then I'll let you know. I think a week later or a few weeks later, he calls me. And I thought at that point that he would never call me, right? I genuinely thought he would never call me or anything. He calls me and he's like, are you sure? Are you serious about doing the show? And I'm like, hell yeah, I am. So I was like, and then he's like, I saw your designs and I really like it. And you just have to apply like this and this and this. The application process korte hobe, but I think you can get through it. And if you are really down for this, then I would be more than happy to produce your show. And I kind of just fell from the sky. I was like, I'm doing New York Fashion Week. So then we went through the application process. We had to apply to different stages. There were different application stages and all. So then I applied, sent my designs in and all of that. They got approved. They came back.
Nice.
And the invitation came back. The invitation came from like how do I explain? The invitation came from this company that arranges New York Fashion Week shows under CFDA. So they gave back the invitation and now I'm doing New York Fashion Week.
That is absolutely amazing. And let's talk about something a little different, not too really different. Like Eid is around the corner, and I'm sure audience would also love to know, do you have any Eid concept or Eid collection, or do you work on that?
I don't have an Eid collection because I'm not in Bangladesh right now.
Okay.
So I only do collections when I'm in Bangladesh, but I have 2 collections that are coming out for New York Fashion Week in September. So please look out for that. One is called
I am absolutely about to.
One is called Icha and one is called Gaze.
Nice.
So those are the 2 collections that are coming out in September. September 7th is the day that they're coming out.
So tell me, what are the main theme of those collections?
Okay. So the 2 different collections that I'm doing are very different. One of the collections' name is Gaze, and one of the collections' name is Icha.
Interesting.
And the Icha collection is a very Bengali fusion kind of collection. So I think it is one of the most interesting collections that I've done, and it's very out of my comfort zone. I am very comfortable designing Western and evening gowns and stuff like that. Like that's what I'm comfortable in.
Okay.
But ebar ami shari design
Nice.
korechi. I designed saris, I designed salwar kameezes, like very ethnic dresses with a little bit of a fusion, right? So that's the theme of Icha. And for gaze, I was completely in my comfort zone.
Nice.
I played around with what I know best, which is evening dresses. There's a lot of you'll see a lot of silk, you'll see a lot of georgette, you'll see a lot of net and mesh. There is one dress actually that is just made of pearls and mesh.
Wow. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So thank you for saying that. I really hope that all of you like it.
I'm sure.
And I really hope that you guys go to my website and purchase it once it comes out. It's at www.raiue.bd.com, and I really hope that everyone likes it.
Right, so we wish you all the best, and I'm sure it's gonna do big impact. So Raisa, tell me, what would you suggest to the newcomers, if anyone watching you right now or follows you, you know, who wants to become a fashion designer, wants to go to FIT, wants to make it to New York Fashion Week, কিছু যদি বলে তুমি ওদেরকে ইন্সপায়ার করতে পারো, বা if you want to suggest anything, what should be the words that you want to say then?
I would say don't design something that somebody else would like. Design something that you're passionate about.
Yes, amazing.
And I think that's why I love what I do. I don't do it for someone else. I don't. This is very. If anybody from my team hears it, they're gonna hate me for it. But I don't design for for people to buy it.
Okay.
I design for myself. Like the collections that I bring out, I want to love that.
Sure.
Right? And that's what makes me enjoy what I do. And that's why I work so hard. Because it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
It feels like my passion. And it feels like my baby.
And I feel people are really blessed, you know, who are actually doing what they love, what they're passionate about, and that is a blessing itself.
Yeah. So that's why I love what I do, and I think you should, as a designer, as a young designer, you should always strive to love your work. Whatever you work for, do not go into the pattern of acha eta trend e ache ami tahole etai banabo, etai I have to do. No, make your own trends. Trends are always created, right? আমরা কখনো চিন্তা করি না যে puffy sleeves আবার ফেরত আসবে. Puffy sleeves were a thing back in the day.
Right.
We never thought it would come back. Polka dots came back.
Right.
Primary colors came back. We never thought all of these would come back, right? So you never know what's gonna come back. So design what you love. Put all of your heart and soul into it, and eventually you'll see results. And I try to remind myself of that every day. Sometimes I give in to my team telling me, je ache na, eta trend e ache etai banao. Kintu most of the time, I try to listen to my heart, and I think you guys should do the same.
That's the way to go, absolutely. And Raisa, I also want to know, like, কোনো মানুষ অনেক সময়, you know, on the way of your success, অনেক সময় অনেক কিছু face করি লাইফে, whether, you know, in terms of your personal life or professional life, or, you know, and you're so young, but is there anything that actually, you know, you have to face any obstacles, or anything that came on your way that you felt like, you know, it's difficult to overcome?
I struggled a lot with mental health, especially since I was hospitalized for anorexia. I struggled a lot with the stigma of being hospitalized for a mental health disorder.
Mhm.
মানুষ আমাকে পাগল থেকে শুরু করে অনেক কিছুই ডেকেছে বাংলাদেশে. So it was not easy for me to kind of overcome that stigma. But at the end of the day, I think it is what shaped me as a human being. And I'm very vocal about it. I'm very vocal about my mental health. And I understand that a lot of people don't want to talk about depression.
Right.
A lot of people don't want to talk about anxiety.
Right.
Because
And this is so real.
this is so real, but
Yes.
they don't want to talk about it because of the taboo, because of what society has taught us.
Yes.
So I want to talk about it because I want people to feel like they're not alone, because
Yeah.
you guys are not. So yeah, that is something that I have faced in my life. I have faced an eating disorder. I have faced clinical depression. I have faced clinical anxiety. So these are some things that I have battled with for more than half a decade now.
Wow. And I remember you telling me off screen before we started that your fashion itself helped you to overcome what you're going through, which is amazing.
Fashion is my escape. Designing is my happy place. And I think everybody should have a happy place in their life,
Yeah.
which is their respite, I would
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
out of all of the things that this world
Yeah.
throws at them.
Right. Absolutely. So Raisa, tell us about your future goal.
আমার সবচেয়ে বড় ফিউচার গোল হচ্ছে একটা এনজিও খোলা.
Nice.
I want to open an NGO for eating disorder patients in Bangladesh. আমি এখন এটা পাবলিকলি বলে দিচ্ছি, যদি ইন দ্য ফিউচার না করতে পারি মানুষ আমাকে মারবে, কিন্তু
আমি দোয়া করি যেন তুমি এটা করতে পারো ইনশাআল্লাহ.
I feel like there is not enough resources for mental health in Bangladesh. তো আমি ফ্যাশন নিয়ে obviously অনেক কাজ করতে চাই, আমি অনেক কিছুই করতে চাই, কিন্তু I want to give back at a certain point of my life. And at a certain point of my life, I want to work a job, or I want to be at a position where I'm creating an organization that helps other people.
That's amazing. And I wish you all the best. I'm sure you can make it happen. আমরা definitely ওটা চাইবো. আর before I let you go, I would like to ask you, you did on the Eid special show. What's your plan for the Eid? What do you do usually? Because Ekhankar Eid in Bangladesh is like totally different. We, cannot celebrate the same way. But how do you celebrate Eid here?
Eid. আমি ঈদে আমার probably আমার রুমমেটদের সাথে বের হব, because I'm very close to my roommates.
Nice.
তো আমি একটা গরুর মাংস খুব ভালো বানাই.
Nice.
এটা হচ্ছে একটা, আমি বলবো না কালাভুনা, কিন্তু একটু কালাভুনার একটা স্পিন অফ। আমি সবকিছুতে একটা স্পিন অফ করতে খুব পছন্দ করি, তো কালাভুনার একটা স্পিন অফ, ওটা বানাবো। তারপর কাজে যাব, কাজ থেকে ফেরত আসবো, ফ্রেন্ডসদের সাথে বের হবো, রুমমেটদের সাথে বের হবো, ফ্যামিলিকে অনেক মিস করবো।
Well, we're all your family, and I wish you Eid Mubarak in advance. Wish you all the best in everything. Best of luck for your coming up collections for September 7th. So guys, do not miss the coming up collection of Raiue. It will be launched on September 7th. So keep your eyes on her next collection, and I will have to unfortunately let her go because কথা বলতে অনেক ভালো লাগছিল রাইসের সাথে, এবং আমার ইচ্ছে করছে আমি আরো অনেক গল্প করি. Maybe we'll do that off screen, but unfortunately I have to let her go now. And next time inshallah I'll be back with another very interesting guest. আজকের মতো এতটুকুই. Signing off, Nazia Jahan from NRBC TV. Thank you.